All right, Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr takes a shot at the Houston Rockets, Mike D'Antoni, and James Harden. He says that the Warriors, since they lost Kevin Durant, they're not going to change into a high pick and roll, 70 times per game type of team, isolation like Harden and the Rockets and Mike D'Antoni system. So they're going to continue to move the ball and not really stay stagnant and do a lot of isolation basketball. He said he would resign before they turn into the Houston Rockets. Let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And that's his opinion, Basically, he was saying that they're not just going to go pick and roll high with Steph Curry and just, let him create and take all the shots. And they really never done that, under Steve Kerr. With Mark Jackson, he did a little bit more, a lot more isolation basketball. What Steve Kerr came and done and why it worked so well with Kevin Durant is because Klay Thompson can play without the basketball. Steph can play without the basketball. Draymond can play without the basketball. And Kevin Durant can play without the basketball. So the difference between them and the Miami Heat with LeBron wasn't that they were more talented than them. You can make a case that they were more talented than them, but that wasn't the case. It was they moved the ball so well and their offense was motion and they cut and nobody was really selfish until the end. You know what I'm saying? With Miami, it was like LeBron, pound the ball into the ground and let him create for everybody. And that's the problem with LeBron. LeBron's limitations go without the basketball. And then again, there's no perfect player in the NBA. Every player has their deficiencies. With Jordan, Steve Kerr had to, not Steve Kerr, but Phil Jackson had to really convince him to play without the basketball. That was basically like prying some candy out of a kid's hand on Halloween. So they convinced Michael he didn't have to take all the shots. He let Scottie handle the ball. They moved the ball. Michael Jordan started winning championships. You know what I'm saying? With LeBron, he would have started winning championships early in Miami had he learned to play without the basketball, but he's always been perfect with the basketball. He's been more point guard than Jordan ever been point guard. So, with those Miami and Cleveland teams, he was a best opportunity to win, but he's never learned to play without the basketball. And with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond and KD, they don't need the basketball. Now, they got one issue before I go in on what he said about Houston. All right. Can they if they keep Andrew Wiggins or whoever they bring in when they trade Andrew Wiggins, can they still do the same? Can they play without the ball? Can they move and cut and get easy buckets? You put Giannis in that system and you get Giannis moving out the basketball, cutting and cutting to the basket, maybe Giannis doesn't have to develop a jump shot. That's one of the things about going over there. But Giannis should want to develop a jump shot. You know what I'm saying? But with him taking a shot at the Rockets, everybody that know basketball knew that team was not going to win. If that team was going to win a championship, it was going to win a fake championship like it is this year. They would have won this year. That isolation pick and roll and everybody standing around there watching the picking and the roller, it's not going to work. It's going to work in the regular season. But once you get to the playoffs, if you notice, and I've been watching playoff basketball for a long time, over 20 years, it slows down in the playoffs. Scouting the reports. They get to scout you after every game. So now James Harden coming off the pick, now teams are able to scout what they doing. So, he picking off the roll, he looking to score. So now you can run an extra person at him. And then when he not expecting that person to come, he make the wrong pass. Then either it's a turnover, the offense has to reset. So that style of play is not going to win in the National Basketball Association. You have to be able to have movement, or you have to be able to have a guy that's going to facilitate to all the other four players on the court. And James Harden is just not that. He's looking for a shot. And if he go to the rim and he get trapped or he see trouble coming, he able to make the extra pass. And pretty much they live and die by the three. There's no in between. It's always been like that with Mike D'Antoni. The difference between here and Phoenix is he didn't have Amari Stoudemire who can just pick and roll. That made Steve Nash that much more dangerous. The difference between Nash and Harden is Nash wasn't always looking to score. Harden is always looking to score. And Harden doesn't have an Amari Stoudemire where you got to respect the roller. Because Amari can pop and hit the mid-range jumper. Clint Capella couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So they really didn't have that aspect in Houston. But even if they did, it just wasn't going to work. Because you can't sit there pick and pop, pick and roll the whole time. And that's all they do. And most teams, they get off on are teams that's on back-to-back or sorry teams. And really, there's only really, I'm going to say, In the NBA, there's probably only really 8 solid teams, 8 really good teams, and everybody else is probably below or below average. And most of those teams are the ones that's competing for the championships. The Phillies, the Bostons, the Torontos, you know what I'm saying? Obviously out west you got LA. Really that's it. Denver you could put in there. And, Dallas is coming. But you don't have that many good teams. And, you could take it as a diss. But to be honest, it's just really honest criticism. You're not going to win a championship running pick and roll every time down Florida. It's one of the most effective plays in NBA history. But then again, in playoff basketball, now we can trap you. Now we can switch it. Now we can play it better. We can see the tendencies, So, of course the Warriors not going to go to that basketball. You got Steph who can come off screens and hit buckets. You got Clay who can move without the ball and hit buckets. You got Draymond who can facilitate. You got Draymond who know how to cut to the basket. You got Steph who can facilitate. You got Clay who can make the extra pass. It's just too much of a fluid offense, and that's what made Golden State dangerous, and that's what made them dangerous with KD. Because KD didn't come in and just need to stick out. And that's what KD just don't get enough recognition that he deserved. He came in the offense didn't miss a beat. He fit right in. He didn't need the ball. He didn't pound the ball into the court. Carmelo couldn't fit in that system because Carmelo wasn't a spot up shooter. Carmelo needed to be a mid range elbow. He's a Bernard King clone. He make the extra dribble and shoot. With Kevin Durant coming to the Warriors system, that's what he did best, is move without the basketball, catch and shoot, cut to the rim. That's what he done best. Steph Curry, that's what he do best. He can handle the ball and facilitate a little bit. For him coming off them screens, or you having Draymond at the top of the key and they running those double screens, and who you gonna double coming off the screen? You cheat the screen on Clay. Clay do a backdoor cut. You cheat the screen on Steph. He can fake a backdoor cut, can't come back up top and hit the three at the wing. It's just so many different things that the Warriors can do. Just even without Kevin Durant. You could post Draymond up if he get a bad matchup. They collapse Draymond, or Draymond can make a bucket. They collapse Draymond, he make the extra pass. He make the extra pass, and then you catch up on Steph. Steph make the extra pass to Clay. You close out on Clay. Clay hit you with the pump fake, dribble inside. He can hit the jumper. Steve Kerr offense has no limits. It has no limits. He doesn't care if you pump fake and dribble, escape dribble, and hit an elbow shot. He don't care if you take a deep three. Long as it's a shot within the offense or the rhythm of the offense. And with Mike D'Antoni, his whole thing is it's a 3 or a layup. Nothing in between. There's no taking a dribble out the triple threat or escape dribble. Bam, hit the mid-range. He don't like those shots. You never going to win championship basketball playing like that. And then he don't preach defense. Steve Kerr preach ball movement, defense. He holds everybody accountable. And, of course, he's an underrated coach. I've been saying that forever. He's a very underrated coach. People say, well, they may not win a championship with Mark Jackson because Steve Kerr implemented ball movement. That San Antonio style, Greg Popovich offense mixed with the triangle. The way they move without the ball and cut without the ball and catch and shoot and make the extra pass, that's what make them deadly. That's why LeBron really couldn't do nothing with them, because it wasn't one person that was going to get off. And that's what the beautifulness, whatever you want to call it, of that offense is. And with Houston, James Harden is just so hypnotized. He pretty much where Jordan was at from as a rookie all the way coming in to Phil Jackson took over. That 88, 89. He kind of were there. He just happy putting up video game numbers, but you can say, oh, James Harden got the scoring rate, whatever he ended up getting, but he didn't do it when it counted. He didn't do it in winning time, excuse me. He don't have the classic game winning shots and stuff of that nature. It's just hollow stats. They really don't mean nothing. So it's going to be hard for the next coach to come in there and convince him, to play without the basketball and to make the extra pass. And, he's been the guy that's kind of been a point guard since he's been in Oklahoma City Thunder. He's been classified as a 2, but he's been a ball handler. But he going to have to really sit back and actually going to want to win and say, fuck the stats. And once he say that, and he start playing winning basketball, it'd be all right. But Russ play the same type of basketball. Isolation, they just happy putting up stats. And when they tired of putting up stats and they want to play winning basketball, then, you know, just then maybe they might win a championship. But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? Best way to do that is share the video with Cash App, PayPal description. Cash App CJ Good 313, PayPal link there. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also got a Facebook group if you ever need to reach out. Business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video question, chop it up. The links in the description. Appreciate the love, support. Check out our NBA Talk playlist. One time for the one time. We gone.